This is the Marcia Week Show, and we're coming to you live from Barbados. My goodness, my mic is off. Good night, everybody. Welcome. This is the Marcia Week Show, the Election Express. And tonight we're having the APP community chat, guys. This is the APP community chat, their digital spot meeting. Yes, and I'm seeing Steve Moore is there already. Wayne Hoyt is there already. Hey, guys, good evening. And you know what I'm going to ask you to do, right? Share. Share. And the reason I'm asking you to share, listen, we're coming down to the wire, and these younger parties, Apostle Canterbury said we're not calling them third parties anymore. We're talking about younger parties, right? These younger parties, they need your support. They need your support. And I keep saying to people, at a minimum, guys, we need a strong opposition. And and so we are promoting all of the younger parties because they don't get as much airplay as everybody else. And you have all been just lapping this up, loving it. Steve Moore, Wayne Hoyt has been at I believe every single. Wayne, haven't you been at every single Election Express? I believe you have been. Thank you so much. And Steve Moore has been there as well. And everybody, Andrea Critchlow, good night. And we are so very excited to have you all here this evening. And we're going to ask you to share. I can't, I needed to share. I needed to let somebody know that we're on. Yes, and let them know that we're on. And tonight we have a big lineup for you. And a lot of them, they're out. Hi, Emeka. How are you? I hope you're enjoying Barbados. We have a lot of the candidates are out in the field, so we are very, very happy that they're able to take the time out to come to speak with us tonight in this digital spot meeting, right? And we have I know Reverend Ferdinand NICHOLS is out there in the field, and I know that they're setting up for him to come on really soon. But I'm seeing right here in the studio we have Miss Veronica Price, and she is from St. Michael West Central. And listen, guys, we are jumping right in tonight. Welcome, Miss Veronica Price.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, wonderful. You look lovely, and I can see your posters right there in the back there. And how is it going for you, Veronica? This is your second time as a candidate.
Yes, it is. I ran in 2018, in St. Michael Southeast, but that's the tan man's territory. So I switched to my old hometown of St. Michael West Central. I grew up there in Fairfield Main Road.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. So but were you actually born there or you just grew up there?
No, my mom moved there when I was maybe 16.
Hmm.
Yeah, just before I left Barbados, she was there. So when I came back to live in 2000 and um 2000, no, I left in 2006. When I came back to live in 1996, that's where she was.
That's
So
where
that's
she
where I
was. So
ended
you
up.
know the community. You know
Yes,
the
I do.
community very, very well. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Okay. I used to be a teacher way back. That was my first job. Then I switched to management administration, was thoroughly fed up with that, didn't find my purpose there, didn't like it, hated going to work. And then I decided, I actually walked off the job. I went to work one day, was sick and tired of being sick and tired, walked off the job. And that's when I found my purpose, which is counseling. I'm a clinical
Mm.
psychologist now.
Wow. And you have lived in both the US and Barbados.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
Yes, I
yes.
left Barbados in 1979 at the tender age of 19. I went to do my degree in administration, which is where I did most of my years of experience working. I did my first degree in administration. I ended up working for several places like the Daily News, which is pretty big.
Mhm.
And one day I just got really tired. I just hated going to work. It was too much, the stress, and I just never went to work. I just got up one morning, didn't go to work, decided to go in after that, and just got up, took my bag, and walked off the job. And
Wow.
then,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. And that's when you went into counseling and
Yes, that's
etc.
when I went into counseling. I did my degree in clinical psychology.
Mhm.
And I used to work with the courts of New York and used to bring my work at home, bring my work home. That's how much I was involved with it. And
Yes.
doing that stressed me out, and I had two strokes. And I
Mm.
retired. That was 2013.
Mhm.
I came out of retirement only last year in 2021 because COVID, even though it's as bad as everybody thinks it is, it actually opened the virtual world to me. So I don't have to leave my home.
Mhm. Mhm. So you do a lot of counseling virtually.
Yes, all of them I do virtually. I have no in-person patients.
Wow. Excellent.
I
Excellent.
counsel I
And
counsel all the states in the United States. I do even as far as Hawaii.
wow, excellent, excellent. And you know, and when you think about your constituency, St. Michael West Central, in what ways are you going to be able to use that? What are your plans in using your skills? You've worked in so many different fields. You know, I know you
Yes.
also as a manager, you're an author. You have somebody here saying Wayne Hoyt is saying Veronica is an author as well, right?
Yes, I
So
am. Yes, I
you have
am.
so much experience. I mean, and how are you going to use those all of that in your constituency?
Yes. Okay. There was a point in time where that all of that experience I have had me didn't know what to do with it. I was like, why do I have all these talents and I have no way to do with it? But it's so funny that not only in counseling, but now that I have come home to take part in the elections, and I did in 2018, that's when everything
Mhm.
came together. That's when I realized that I can use my counseling skills with women and helping them with parenting, which is the ministry I would covet, which is the ministry of social care.
Mhm.
That's when I realized that women are struggling with their children. I have a project that I started. It's called Project Nisi, and that's
Mhm.
where I used to run in New York to bring children. I actually brought children together for 6 weeks of intense training, how to handle conflict resolution, giving them other skills other than fighting, other than getting themselves in troubles with the courts, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you believe, I mean, these skills, as somebody here is saying, it seems to me that Veronica has an impressive background. I'm thinking the same thing as well, especially with what you see happening in the society in Barbados, and within families and so on. So St. Michael West Central, I mean, they would be blessed to have you as their representative. Can you tell us a bit about, describe St. Michael West Central for me, Veronica?
Okay, so Michael West Central is diversified. I went into they on the list is called St. Stephen's Hill. They call it
Mhm,
something else. I can't remember what they told me. But that in
mm,
there are children that are doing well. So it's not all children that are not doing well. Because
mhm,
the guy, there was a guy that actually corrected me. He said, "Oh no, we don't have any children badly out here. All our children are
mhm,
doing well." So there are some areas I come across where children are doing well and parents are doing
mhm,
well, but the
mhm,
majority of parents and children aren't.
mhm,
Parents are struggling. I am actually right now in the home of my friend Charmaine. This is
mhm,
where I'm running my constituency office from because she's right in Seclusion Gardens. She
mhm,
has a child that is autistic,
mhm.
and she actually just had to grab him and take him out of the house because he started to be agitated, and when he saw the lights and stuff, and he started to,
Yes,
so she
yes.
had to grab him and take him out. And I am so appalled at the lack of help
Mhm,
that she gets with this child.
mhm,
I
mhm,
and I commend her. I think she's a saint. How she
mhm,
handles
mhm,
that child, but she gets no help, none, not even
mhm,
financially, except for welfare maybe. No, no,
mhm.
no, no, nobody to come in and relieve her for a day that she can go to the spa and relax and enjoy herself. Nothing. So she has that child 24/7.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow. So these are some of the challenges that you're seeing in the community. And
Yes.
yes, okay. And you believe that, with the children who have special needs, which here we don't have special care for those with special needs. When you
And
live
that
in the
is so
US, you
lacking.
see how, yes. So I totally understand. What are some of the other areas of concern that you see in St. Michael West Central?
Okay. A lot of the young men are saying they need work, and
Mhm,
so I'm saying, well, everybody's not going to get a job, and I believe that they should be able to use their God-given talents, their skills to make a
mhm,
living. So I'll say, what can you can do? I can cut here. I can do needlework. I can. So APP actually has a program that we are going to bring these people together. I like to say the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker.
yes.
And we want to bring them together, train them, teach them how to run a business, how to run an actual business, and
Mhm,
so that they can make a living from their God-given talents.
mhm. So your
So
plan
instead
is
of
to
waiting
raise
at
up
home trying
entrepreneurs
to work,
within. So you're,
yes,
you're planning to raise. Okay,
instead
understood,
of
understood.
instead of sitting around trying to find work, which is so hard. I came back home from the United States in 1996 with all of my qualifications. It took me 2 years to find a job.
Hmm.
2 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And plus, I mean, and then we don't know what kind of qualifications that they have. I'm seeing Sabrina Wilkinson saying that she has a plan for that. Sabrina, are you talking about those who are autistic, children who are autistic? Can you clarify, Sabrina? And if I remember, Sabrina, are you from Barbados? Are you living in Barbados at the moment? Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. All right, good. So guys, as you are watching, I'm going to ask you to share. Please share and to let others know that we are on. So she lives, okay, you live, Sabrina, you live in Barbados. I would love to hear what your plan is, the plans that you have, and probably you might be able to work with Veronica in St. Michael West Central, right? Monica Blackwood is saying, agreed. One of my dreams to skill map to create new careers to see what Barbadians can export instead of import. So, and this has been the running, theme on this dialogue. on this show where, we're talking about diversifying and not importing so much. Okay. Sabrina lives in Florida, but Sabrina, are you Barbadian? And Iodel Bishop, welcome. And she's saying that she also has a son with sensory processing challenges as well, right? And Sabrina has a son like that. And you see, and Sabrina is from Barbados. Welcome, Sabrina. Welcome. And Iodeli, Sabrina, if you have ideas, you please, this is a good space to put it. And trust me, sometimes what happens, Veronica, is that out of these shows, meetings are happening. I was told someone was on the
Yes.
show and somebody called them, and they brought him to 30 persons, to help him to do what he needed to do. And meetings are taking place, and people are helping people. So that would be great, great, great to get those ideas. Okay. Now, is there anything else in terms of St. Michael West Central? So we're talking here, about those with special needs, and we're also talking about entrepreneurship for the youth. What else do you see in St. Michael West Central that you believe that you'll be able to use your skills to help the people of St.
Women
Michael?
that have been abused. I don't want to say it, I hate to say it, but it's pandemic in Barbados. Women have been sexually abused all over. That's also one of my specialties. It's also from my own experience, and it happened right here in
Mm-hmm.
Barbados. When I was 9 years old, I have come across too much of that. I adopted a child who was also sexually abused at the age of 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's pandemic in Barbados, and we sweep it under the rug. We pretend it doesn't happen, but it does.
Mm-hmm. 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 And so you speaking to some of those women in the community
I'm
now?
speaking to some of them. I'm meeting a lot of them, and
Mm-hmm.
they all crying out for help because they're this how old now, and it happened when they were children, and it's never
Mm-hmm.
been addressed because
Mm-hmm.
Barbados does not address that. I actually had to fight to get therapy for my daughter, my foster daughter. I had to
Yes.
fight to get it.
Yes, yes, yes. And so that's one of the issues that you're seeing there. What are some of the practical ways that you're going to help those women in St. Michael West Central?
Well, I'm a counselor, so that is the main
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, People don't heal from sexual abuse unless they've gotten counseling, unless they've gotten
Mm-hmm.
help. It's
Mm-hmm.
only swept under the rug. It's like a cut, a deep cut that you had that's scarred over and healed, but when you press it,
Mm-hmm.
it hurts like hell. So when these women are pressed, they hurt. They lash out. They are they are aggressive, and at least that's what people think they are. But all they are is
Mm-hmm.
hurting and not healed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
sexual abuse permeates every single area of your
Mm-hmm.
entire life until you
Mm-hmm.
are healed.
That is so true. That is so true. Lisa was asking us the same question. She was asking, what measures to abuse women do you envisage can be implemented, right?
First to begin with, I think that we in Barbados we cultivate a rape culture. We have people that think that certain things are okay. I remember there was a woman that was talking. She came here with a welcome stamp, and she was talking about the level of catcalling she got. And other Bajan women actually told her that's normal, that's natural, accept it. And I remember when the Me Too movement started in Barbados, Life in Leggings, and I told my story of what happened to me, and people were like, "That happened in Barbados?" Yes, that happened in Barbados because we accept it as normal. We think it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I remember
Mm-hmm.
walking down the street with my same 13-year-old foster child, and a grown man kept calling her. And I said to him, but she's only 13. He told me
Mm-hmm.
tattoo 13 on her back. That's what he told me.
Hmm.
And I told him, well, I usually have a knife. Come, let me tattoo 13 on yours.
No, you talk about, the sexual abuse, domestic abuse. We talk about the rape culture. how would these all of these vices and these in society, how are they affecting St. Michael West Central as a community? What impact
Well,
do they have?
when it affects a community, then it affects the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
It affects the community. When I first moved back home in 1998, across the street from my mother's house was a woman whose uncle had given her about 4 children. Her
Mm-hmm.
uncle.
Mm-hmm.
People used to call him Uncle Daddy, and everybody used to laugh and think it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I eventually went across the street, made friends with her, and started talking to her and got her to leave him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing that hurts
Mm-hmm.
my heart. You see, my
Yeah.
mother heart.
And
It hurts my mother heart.
those kind of stories, so it's just so
Are
painful.
so prevalent in
And
Barbados.
sometimes we don't think of the impact on the entire society, because here you have people who are hurt and who have been abused and who are full of pain, and then they're having children, and and so it becomes perennial. As you look at St. Michael West, is that what you're seeing? Is it that these
Yes,
women?
this woman lived across the street from me. She's in St. Michael West Central. She lived across the street from my mom. There were others that I came across that we sweep it under the rug and we think it's okay. I have names of people that are prominent in society that do this as well, because corruption in Barbados is real and we have to do something about it.
Mm. And so you're saying that counseling would be the first step. You're
Would be
saying
the first step. Would be
first
the
step
first step. The least that they can get is counseling.
is
That's the
counseling.
least that they should be getting. And it
Can
should
you?
be state ordered and state mandated. You shouldn't have to pay for that. That should be state ordered, state mandated.
Wow. And what are some of the? So if you were at your spot meeting, say you were at your spot meeting, you're before your constituents, and right now we have to do it from our car, we have to do it from a truck, all of those things because of COVID. What would you say? You're at your spot meeting. What would you say to your constituency right now?
I would say it takes a village, a community to raise a child. When I was a child, my next door neighbor sent me to school. She came, she woke me up, she got me ready, she combed my hair, she gave me breakfast, she sent me to school. There was Miss Agard, that these days children were called nosy, but Miss Agard used to watch me and make sure I didn't go the wrong places because I had a tendency to stray. So Miss Agar kept me in line and she told my mom without a cell phone. She knew that where I was going wasn't I supposed to go, and she let my mother know. Children these days don't appreciate that kind of stuff because they think that you're none of my mama. You can't help raise me. But it takes a village to raise a child, and that's the truth. And I remember counseling a lady one time. She told me, how you expect me to be everywhere my child is and know what they're doing? I said, that's where the village comes in. That's where the village comes in. The village, you put your people are in place and they know what your child is doing. When I was raising my daughter, same thing. I told my daughter, yes, I let her go certain places, but I had my people in place so that if she go the line, I would know long before she got home. So that's the kind of thing that I would be telling my constituents. Keep trying to call me. Oh boy, can't even get it off.
I think someone is trying. They're probably saying, "Veronica, I see one."
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Someone is saying, so Sabrina, we want to hear your comments. Guys, any questions? I think I see a question. Lisa is asking what can intervention work? What intervention work can be done for youth at risk? Okay.
Okay. All right,
Yes.
that's another one of my pet subjects. Children at risk of offending. I have this the program, the Project Nisi, which I would like to introduce to the entire Barbados, every constituency. It is a 6-week intensive program that not only deals with the sexually abused but children at risk of offending. I tell the story of Jason. Jason was one of the fellows that came to me from court. He was dealing drugs. He said, Mom, they know you trying with me. I go in with the family business. I said, what's your family business? He told me dealing drugs. My father
Mm-hmm.
deals drugs. My grandfather dealt drugs. My uncle
Mm-hmm.
deals drugs. My cousin deals drugs. And I'm going to deal drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still speak? Okay, because I couldn't see you for a minute. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so Jason, let me ask you a question. If I come to you, right, and I give you $100 and I want to $10 in product, how much money you going to give me back? He couldn't answer me. I said, so Justin, you're gonna at least do arithmetic math. He said, okay. And he started doing math from that day. So
Mm-hmm.
then after he was doing math and doing well, I said, but Jason, you know that you could take your skills, the same skills you have, and put them into any legitimate business that deals with product.
Mm-hmm.
You could own a small shop. You can sell clothes, any business that deals with product that you need to reinvest in your inventory, that you need to watch your money and see where it's going, that you need to not spend the company money like it is your own, but that you keep it and you know you have to reinvest and only the profit you can work with. I said, any legitimate business you can do that with. And he said, Mom, but you know what? I could sell clothes. I say, yes, you can. You can do any legitimate business with the skills that you have. And he did. And that's the project that I have, that I train children, I teach them how to do things other than illegal stuff to make money.
Wow. Excellent. 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 We need that. We need that. I have a young man. He's 16, in my school, and he, Veronica, he was, was in some trouble with the police. And would you believe that young man is actually at the top, math, accounting, POB. I mean, he gets the top grades now in our school. And a lot of times they just need something else, to kind of, and so I love what you're planning to do.
Train them in
Like,
another direction.
yes,
That's all they need. They
St.
need to see
Michael
that they
West
can
Central.
go in another direction and
Yes.
still make money and still work for themselves.
Listen, guys, we need to promote. Anytime you see anything, we just have a couple days. It's the 19th. It's people like these that we need in our government. These are the people that we need to be representing the different constituencies. We need them elected. We need them elected. These are the people in the young party, and it's young, and they have lots of innovative ideas. They're heavily skilled. You could hear this is not something that she's thinking that she would like to do. This is what she's actually doing. And this is indeed very, very, very awesome. Let me see if there's another question. I'm going to ask one more question, and then I will have to bring in Dr. Ferdinand. But I would like for you to stick around if you can,
I
um,
will.
uh, please. So let me ask
Yes,
you
I
this
will.
this question here that Lisa Niles. Lisa Niles, but probably in your constituency, she's asking you a lot of questions. Is Project NISI scalable? That is, can it be administered as a national initiative?
Yes, it can. Yes, it certainly can. Because
Mm-hmm.
it is a model program. I founded it. It's a
Mm-hmm.
model program. So I can take it anywhere and teach it to anyone
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're willing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, very good. And Sabrina is saying she's in Florida, but she's Barbadian, and she's saying I have to let my aunt husband link up with you. He's in Barbados. Okay, so Sabrina, you can send me a message, and let's listen, guys. We're very serious about this. This is all about Barbados. This is all about Barbados, and we can take this, guys. We can see the turnaround community by community. It
Community
can happen.
by community.
Yes, I love it. One community at a time, community by
One
community.
community
And
at a
here,
time. I'm getting
Listen,
cold bumps. I'm getting
yes,
cold bumps.
yes,
Community
because
by
you know
community.
that's it. If we can get a lot of that emotional healing happening and giving people opportunity, like that guy Jason, if we can do some more of that, that would be wonderful. But I want you to stick around, because I want to talk to you. There's some other questions that people are asking. Like for example, what is the party's plan as it relates to these kinds of issues? So we're going to come back and talk some more.
Okay.
Veronica, thank you so much for being on. And this is Veronica, and she is from the St. Michael, St. Michael West
West Central.
Central. Veronica Price. Veronica Price. That's the name. That's the name. When you go to vote on the 19th, we're not joking here, right? We got to get this woman in. All right, we got to get her in. Guys, please share. Please share. Please share. Please share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Veronica, for being here. And at this time, we're going to do, or we're going to get right into our theme song. The APP, this song somebody told me about. I love that song. I love it too. I love it too. So we're gonna play that. We're gonna play that theme song while we wait on Ferdinand Nichols, who is actually out on the road. And we wanted to start with him, but he's out there in the field. He's in the field right now, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to go to him. But I'm also seeing Paula Bradshaw is in, and I'm seeing EVERTON HERU HOLIGAN is also in, right? So we're gonna go right now to that. Right now to our theme song, and yeah.
We rocking with the we voting the with Bishop Joseph Atherley. We voting for yes, we believe, so we unite. Together hand in hand we stand up against the fight. Corruption that's so denied. Every agent from their fair and equal right. Integrity, our philosophy. Good governance is what we've got to give. We say no more big bad wolf parties. It's time for chicks on board the APP. We rocking with the APP. We voting the APP. With Bishop Joseph Atherley. We voting for APP. We voting for what we know. We know most of them got to go. We heads not down in the sand. We know Atherley is the man. No more one party politics. No more big trucks and no more tricks. No more one party politics. No more big trucks and no more tricks. We rocking with the AP. The Alliance Party for Progress. We exist for your best Joseph Atherley. We voting for APP. Who we voting for? 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 APP.
Hey, APP, all the way, all the way, all the way, APP, all the way. All right, so now we have, I know we're still waiting on Dr. Ferdinand Nichols. However, we have Miss Paula Bradshaw, and Paula is on a mission tonight. Paula said, listen, I have to go because these let me tell you, these women on a roll, man. Paula, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Got places to go and people to see, girl.
Well, let me just officially introduce Paula Bradshaw to you. And she is the candidate for St. Joseph.
Yes.
Beautiful St. Joseph, right?
Beautiful St. Joseph.
Actually, I really want the people in St. Joseph to do something for me,
What's that?
I need them to I need them to deal with that attorney general. The former, we're gonna say the former attorney general is only St. Joseph can deal with that, you know. Only
I,
St. Joseph can do it. So we have
I think they're ready. They're ready. They're ready.
a formidable candidate here from St. Joseph. Yeah, Paula Bradshaw. Paula, tell us what is happening on the ground in St. Joseph. I know you're in there every day. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Well, I've been saying this for every day now. I've been saying this, that we meet a wide cross section of residents, and some of them are saying we need so much down here that we don't know where to start. Some of them are saying we have no real representation. Some of them are saying we're not voting because it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. And some of them are saying, yes, we're ready for change. Come. So the change is definitely needed. That is not disputable. But it is to get some people to realize that it is possible, because after so many decades, they've thrown their hands in the air and they have just given up. So it is going well. I mean, we're meeting lots and lots of people. And there are parts of St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Andrew that are in the constituency as well, just on the borders. So we've been going into those areas and meeting just some of the most wonderful people. And some of them are so receptive. They're like, yeah, it's like a light bulb got turned on. They're like, yeah, that's what we need to do. Yeah, let's do this.
Try something different. Let's do
Yes,
something.
let's try. That's
I saw a picture, Paula, of the office, the BLP office.
Yes.
And sandwiched. The BLP office is sandwiched by these two very, dilapidated homes.
Yes.
But the BLP, this office, I'm sorry I don't have the pictures tonight. Guys, you needed to see. It looked like a state of the art. So it actually, the office actually doesn't even fit in with what's happening, the landscape.
It definitely does not.
Area. Can you talk to me about that?
Well, we were driving by and we kind of screeched to a halt, and we were like, wait, one of these things is not like the other. What is wrong with this picture? And then when we reversed, we were like, wait, another one on that side too? So we're like, but how is this possible? How is this possible that you have this beautifully repainted building, and then on either side you have people living in abject poverty? I mean, blind much? And this is what we've been seeing throughout. And that's what people have been expressing, that they're forgotten. Nobody cares. It's a rural parish. And I would say that economically in this parish, what is needed is, well, to be honest, in the same thing that's needed in most of the others, that is for entrepreneurship to be boosted. But because of the location and the vegetation and the kind of skills that exist now, there are lots of people who are telling us they're interested in farming. And just before we turned to come back in this evening, as it was getting a bit dark, we spotted a young man. They're planting some lettuce, and I got so excited because I told him, listen, I need to plant food urgently and I don't know anything. So what is it that you put it in there? He told me peat moss, and I was able to ask him a couple questions. So I think a lot of them in that parish, they want to start farming. They want, in some instances, access to land. In some instances, they have land, but they need funds to get, these seeds, to get it cleared, to get it plowed. That is one aspect of it. I don't know how well most Barbadians know the landscape of St. Joseph, but it is absolutely fantastic for ecotourism. It's wonderful for hiking, and now that so many Barbadians are into hiking and being in the outdoors and getting fit and really enjoying nature, this place is just perfect for that. It
You
is
know, Paula, I
absolutely
must
breathtaking.
interject there. You talk about ecotourism, and hiking and all of that. And Lisa is asking, what would you say is a priority for St. Joseph economically?
Right.
And would those, are those some of the you
Yes, because economically, the farming, oh my goodness. Again, you've heard me say this, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So
know,
the farming definitely will bring in needed dollars because our food import bill is so high. We need to start really taking this thing seriously and getting enough food in the ground that we will buy locally. So economically, the farming is going to be a huge boost. The the hiking trails are going to be a huge boost, for not just in the area of tourism, but locally, because there's so many Bajans who also are into hiking big time now. So that is an economic boost. That is something that the locals can get into, can be trained how to relate to their clients and how to explain exactly where we are and what these plants are, and you know so that is an area of opportunity as well. Of course, we need to help those, as Veronica just said, so many who have a skill. We met one young man. He does natural juices. He sews. He's a tailor. He has a little pet shop, and he bakes. So yes, there are people who are not interested for whatever reason because they haven't seen how it can work very often. So there's some who are not eager to get into business, but I think it is because they just haven't seen it as attainable.
right.
So, as Veronica said, whatever the skill is, whatever you could be good at, we need to help you make that profitable so that you can earn a decent income. I was talking today about I was listening to the seminar on aloe, and we were saying, listen, we need to get this stuff in the ground. Why can't we have aloe farms so that then we have enough production material to create and sell the countless products that can be made from aloe? So that is something else. Healing herbs. Why can't we be the center, not just of the Caribbean, but the hemisphere with these healing herbs, oils, capsules, elixirs? Why on earth can't we do that, especially in somewhere as lush? The size and the height of the trees down there, it is just amazing. So things grow beautifully.
Yes.
The air is nice and moist. They have the natural springs for the irrigation. So there are so many possibilities.
Wow. So when we think of agriculture, I mean, St. Joseph is a key
Perfect.
parish. And to
Absolutely
think that
perfect.
all this, 3.5 years, it's like you wonder what have you done with that time? And that's
Yeah,
why I need the people in St. Joseph, come on, man. Please help the nation.
that's
Help
it.
Barbados, because we have an inept attorney general that we need to get rid of. Please, as a minimum. you know.
Something else that I would also like to see in St. Joseph very soon. It is something that we have wanted to do in St. John, and now that we're going to have a representative with a background in entertainment, I do believe it is going to happen. And that is a music and arts festival.
Hmm.
And that can be annual, biannual. We can work it. We can set up a center for every single weekend. There are people who come down there just to have drinks. Dog bite it. They would come for they would come for entertainment. You know.
So it's really lush. I drove through there a couple of days ago. Really lush. I said, "Wow, Dave, this it's like a small Jamaica." That's the truth. That's
I
how
told my friend it reminds me of Martinique and
yes,
Saint
it's
Lucia, and
beautiful.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
very,
Even
very
the air
green
is
and
different.
yeah, all the gullies and the, it's, and I even saw red dirt. It
Yes.
is so fertile, guys. I'm
Yeah.
like, you have red dirt in Barbados. I didn't know that because in Jamaica, when you have red dirt, it means that that land is very, very fertile.
Yes, you
You
tend
know?
to see it in that part of the island generally, but then they also have some other beautiful, rich, dark brown soil.
Yes.
So they have
Wow.
different kinds, you know.
Yes, my goodness. So I mean, all these things. So you're talking about the aloe. I didn't even mean to create an industry out of the aloe. I mean, that is awesome. People are, Wayne Hoyt is saying aloe is used heavily in the beauty industry. And the beauty industry is like $1 billion industry. What?
Beauty and healing. I told a story of a former student of mine who, and I know she won't mind me sharing, she was in the hospital for a year because what happened was she had food poisoning and
Mhm,
they treated her for that, but her body kept treating all food as poison.
mhm,
So she whittled down to 60 something pounds,
mhm,
and all the doctors, all the specialists, no one could do anything. And someone
mhm,
told her dad, give that girl, I'm saying girl, she's like in her
mhm,
30s,
mhm,
give your daughter aloe water.
mhm.
You know, her body adjusted and
Wow.
started receiving food after that.
Wow.
We think it's just beauty and it's just skin and it's just burns.
Mhm,
Listen, when the list goes on and on and on, the healing properties of
mhm,
aloe, you know, the antioxidant properties and
mhm,
antimicrobial and anti this and so
mhm,
many nutrients and vitamin A and D. Listen, so vitamin E, sorry, so many things, so many
mhm.
things. So that
Wow.
is just one, but that's just one, you know.
Mm. And someone is saying here, there was someone said that Monica Blackwood said, Paula, I know a couple of people who can help in training with hydroponics and permaculture. Uh,
Wonderful.
and this is what I love about the show, because then people start to come together and things
Right.
are happening. As I'm telling you, people are messaging me about meetings. Thank you for doing this. This morning somebody called and said, oh, we were able to do this because we somebody else was on, and contacted us. So Monica, please find a way to reach out to me, reach out to Paula if you can.
She knows how.
Knows how. Yes. Okay. So yeah, because no, let's make this thing happen, guys.
Yes, yes. And I mentioned that before. Um, taking it to another level, taking the agriculture to another level. And also, I was talking in another setting today, and maybe I mentioned it here before, where
Hmm.
when this last hurricane came, even those who had spent thousands on their solar systems, they still had no electricity because it was connected to the main grid, and the main grid was down. So, this is something we have to address urgently,
Hmm.
that every house where possible
Hmm.
has solar panels, of course, to suit the size and the need and the number of occupants, but so that we're not left out in the cold. With the last hurricane, and that was a little one, I was without power for 6 days. There are people who
Hmm.
were without power for longer than that.
Right.
So,
Wow.
all of these things we need to look at.
Wow. And someone here, there's another question. Wayne Hoyt is asking. It's a general question, but I think it's important. So the youngsters have a lot of know-how in several areas, but
That's
not
right.
the inputs. What will the APP propose to do if they take over the admin?
Well, we've been singing this song to whoever would listen, that we want to really practice true democracy, because we believe, we know that our people have ideas, they
Mhm,
have solutions, they're extremely creative, they have so much to bring to the table. So we
mhm,
have to stop operating like only a few people have the know-how or can access it, when
mhm,
there's so many out there, thousands and thousands of people with
mhm,
solutions to contribute.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we need to tap into that. If we are their representatives, then we bring their ideas and their
Mm-hmm.
dreams and their solutions and
Mm-hmm.
their
Mm-hmm.
techniques and strategies to the table. Because
Right.
if we've been doing it one way and having either poor or mediocre results, then let's try what they're suggesting and
Mm-hmm.
see what amazing results we'll have from that.
Right, right, right. Wow. I mean, that this chat is on fire. This chat is on fire. You need to go back and read the chat. That's the other thing I say to the candidates. And I'm hoping Veronica will go back and read the chat. Read the chat because there's just so much ideas out there, and it's
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
people that you guys are deciding to serve, and so we have to be able to work together. And so
Amen.
Mecca, who I know lives in the U.S. but is a Barbadian and is here now. She's talking about coffee and cocoa trees
Yes,
and
that's a
growing things.
wonderful idea. Yes,
Mm,
the climate down there is perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. You're
mm.
so right.
Yes, 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 yes. Wow, wow, wow. So I mean, so these are the things that you plan to do there. How are you going to get all of this done, Paula? We have a just. I know you have to leave soon, so we have another 4 minutes.
Well, to be honest, again, the first place to start, the first step would be the ideas. The first step would be the ideas, hearing from the people down there on the ground who have been trying and who have been working with the plants and the trees and the herbs for so long. Yes, things like the neem that again has so many healing properties. They've been working with these things, so they already have the know-how. So it is to connect those who have the know-how
Mhm.
with those who create policy and with those who want to get involved on the ground and actually get into the cultivation of it all, who want to
Mhm.
have their hands, as we say, in the dirt. So it
Mhm.
is to bring all of these people together and let's get started. We don't have time to waste. We
Mhm.
do not have time to
Right.
waste.
And listen,
So,
and I think we
yes,
need, as you talk about training, entrepreneurial skills,
yes,
because they're farmers, and you want to be able to marry that with some of the entrepreneurial skills. And so, if you are watching, and you might not even be from St. Joseph,
no,
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Because I'm
No,
telling you, I want to have. Every time I hear about this, I get excited.
we are one people. Barbados is small. We are one people. We are one big family. And so it doesn't matter if you're not from here. We are helping Barbados. We are helping our beautiful rock.
Yes, 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 yes. Monica Blackwood, she's saying that I'm sure too that it is possible to rebirth old skills, but with new design. I love that. Such
Hmm.
as basket weaving, but with a new design or new way of doing it.
Yes.
Some innovation there.
Hmm.
Companies like IKEA would support community projects.
Hmm.
So we have to look at it, in a different way. And I think that's what Wayne is getting to, about getting the young people
Yes.
involved in this. And yeah, I think this is awesome. So you are listening, guys, to Mrs. Paula Seeley Bradshaw, and she's a candidate for St. Joseph. St. Joseph, please do something now. Do something, St. Joseph. It is, yes, man. Do something, man. Do something. Please don't come back with this same tired thing. You know,
Nope.
no, no,
Make
no, no,
that
no.
change.
Where you just
Make that change.
you put up a light and you fix a road. No, the people are more than a light and a road. Listen, you got this nice, pretty lady. All the things you're talking about right now.
Ah,
No man, no man, no
yeah.
man, no
We
man.
need to get to it. We need to get to it. Time is of the essence.
Correct. There's one very last question, very last, and I've got to go. Any plans for improving the community tourism product in St. Joseph?
Well, we kind of touched on that a little bit. And I will go back to that because as I said, the parish is so perfect. It is so perfect for ecotourism. It is so perfect for uh, locals to be hiking and the rivers and the streams. And I mean, when I say rivers, I don't mean like what y'all have in Jamaica, good dear, but
Mhm.
there's so much to see and to enjoy. and to get the community involved in. There is just absolutely so much. We were sitting at this, if you see this tiny little bar, probably no bigger than a king size bed. And because the location is so breathtaking, people are stopping there, tourists are stopping there, locals are stopping there, and just sitting out and enjoying the beautiful surroundings, having the little drink or the little snack. But it isn't necessarily some big, huge establishment that you need. But tourists are attracted to it because of the beautiful surroundings. So there's so many avenues to explore, so many. And then of course, down in the basin you have the surfing, and we are known internationally for that. There were so many people down in there today. So there's just so much to do. There's so much to enjoy. There's so much to expose everyone to once they come and see how absolutely beautiful it is.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, you talk about the surfing there. Oh, bye. I remember that. Not that I could surf, but I know it happens there. What about internet? Shambro, welcome, Shambro Apu. What about internet first? Because everyone doesn't have internet.
Listen, that I don't know. Listen, when you hit the ground, we're gonna have to hit the ground running, doing I don't know, 1,000 things in the first 90 days, because that is also something that needs to be addressed with urgency. The internet, the connectivity, the Wi-Fi, we need to get that sorted. We need to get it sorted all over our rural parishes, not just St. Joseph, but we're talking about St. Joseph. So yes, that is absolutely a priority, because it's not only the students who are suffering. And again, I like to acknowledge that there are more places in Barbados now that have Wi-Fi. Even some of our new buses have Wi-Fi. But somehow some of our parishes seem to have been forgotten, and not much has been done in that area. And so we would like to take it to another level. We would like to improve it as soon as possible, because that is vital in this day and age.
Oh my goodness. And I'm saying Mr. Smiley has been there. I have a pet peeve with Mr. Smiley, who has been there for all this time. And you drive through. I mean, no internet, come on, guys. Come on, St. Joseph. Do something now. Do something, St. Joseph. Do something, right? And oh my, this chat, you need to read this chat, Paul. I know you've got to go, so I'm going to let you go. But Andrea Critchlow, welcome. All of these ideas, guys, just share them. This is your Barbados.
Yes.
Your Barbados. It is
Yes.
your Barbados. Yes.
And I am not going to pretend that I have all the answers. Of course I don't. I am not going to pretend that I have all the ideas. But our people do. Our people do. Our people here, our people in the parish, in the constituency, but also our people throughout the diaspora. And I know there are people throughout the diaspora from Barbados, from St. Joseph, who want to help and who want to give up their expertise. I was on a radio show today with a gentleman who wants desperately to share his teaching expertise and his engineering expertise with young Barbadians. So I know that there's so many out there who just want to give back, and right there in the community, living there in the community, there's so many who want to give back. And as we keep saying, who know the answers, who have the answers, the ideas, the creativity, the experience, the expertise, and they want to share it. And we welcome that, because we're by no means saying that we are experts about everything, have a solution for everything in the best manner possible. No, we are representatives representing you and wanting you to bring all your talent and expertise and ideas to share with the whole island.
Yes. Wow. This is tremendous. This is tremendous. I can remember the former Attorney General of the U.S. To Barack Obama. His family is from St. Joseph, and I believe that these are people that we can tap into, and just even promoting that, and connecting with that. And I believe a lot of the people on here who are from the diaspora, who are people who are in the U.S.
Yes,
and the Barbadians, and they are commenting. So I believe that they would be ready to help.
absolutely. I believe so too.
Yeah. And trust me, if you haven't been to St. Joseph recently, those are your overseas, it's still beautiful.
Ah,
It is
breathtaking.
still beautiful.
Listen, we were slowing down every 2 minutes. Look over there. Look at that.
Yes,
Oh my goodness. We were like tourists because
yes,
every inch of it is so gorgeous. It's just
yes,
beautiful.
yes. And I know you've been in that. I mean, your dad was a school teacher in the area, and you've been in that community. But as you go through, it's like now you're seeing things like you're seeing it for the first time. You know.
Yes.
Wow. Well, Paula, I know you have a lot to do, and it's only a couple more days. Guys, look for the name Paula Bradshaw, Paula Seeley Bradshaw, and St. Joseph. And let's do the thing, St. Joseph. Do the thing, do
Yes.
the thing, do the
Yes.
thing.
Let's make that
Yep.
change.
Yes,
Let's
make
make
that
that
change.
change. Real change for a change.
Real change for a change. Paula Seeley Bradshaw. All right. Okay, Paula, God bless you. Thank you
God
so much.
bless you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, wonderful. That was Paula Seeley Bradshaw and the candidate. Well, we're going to say representative by faith for St. Joseph, the candidate for St. Joseph. And thank you all for all the comments and everything that you've been saying in the chat. And we're supposed to have Reverend Ferdinand Nichols coming to you tonight, but been having some I think he's setting up, etc. But we have with us EVERTON HERU HOLIGAN is here in the house, and one of my favorite non-politician. This man is not a politician. In fact, a lot of these that these candidates, some of the younger parties, you're not that smell of politics is not there, and we are just hoping and that will be preserved, right? But just before we have him, we're going to just play one of the APP ads. Tonight is APP, and they have several ads. So we're going to play one of their ads at this time. And then right after, Mr. Holigan is going to join us.
Who to call despotic?
It is not often that I come before the Honorable Prime Minister, but I believe that when she was making her decisions in relation to choosing a Minister of Education, she certainly knew that it was not going to be an easy task, having been the person who would have led this ministry during her tenure. And I say that, and she knows what I'm saying, because many times I feel as though the Prime Minister is still the Minister of Education.
I feel as though the Prime Minister is still the Minister of Education.
Who to call despotic?
Mayor Motley is a despot.
Well, that is an ad from the APP. I didn't say it. This is the APP ad that has been produced by APP. And remember, guys, it's the 19th. We want real change in this country. Real change. I keep saying at a minimum, a very, 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 very strong opposition. And at maximum, you know what to do. Hey, out of here. All right. And we can, I know that the younger parties, they can do it. All right. So hopefully we're gonna hear from Reverend Ferdinand Nichols, who's out there in the field as we speak. But we have EVERTON HERU HOLIGAN in the house. Welcome, sir. You're muted. You're muted.
Here we go. Thank you very much. How are you, Marcia?
I am doing great. I'm still having fun. I'm still expectant. I'm still full of energy. Every
That's
night
amazing.
it's 7. Because I get to meet people like you and Paula Bradshaw and Veronica Price, and it just energizes me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to make sure that you get these voices out. And I also appreciate those who are on your live that are listening in, because they could be doing anything at this moment. They could be doing anything. It's not easy to be able to do something like this. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of love first. First, you got to love your country and love the community that you're choosing to represent. And in that journey, you know, it's a lot of commitment that you have to then put out there to try to make a dent. I would say that for the what we call the alternative parties, as Apostle Scantlebury was saying earlier, the younger parties, we are, you know, just unhappy with how things have evolved within our democracy. And so we've put our voices out there, we've put our characters in some instances, our reputation in some cases, and lots of time into trying to create a narrative, not only just for us to be able to ascend to high office on behalf of people, but also to give inspiration to those who are coming behind us so they know that they too can do something different. And speaking about doing something different, because that truly is what needs to happen in Barbados. Things need to be done differently. And new voices would more than likely be the catalyst for doing things differently. And all we ask is for the people of Barbados to recognize that this is the time, or the time has been here for quite a while, and now is the time to make that change. That is that time to put some younger, newer voices and representing newer institutions in the halls of Parliament so that we can kind of shake up this democracy. Now, I'm representing St. George South, which is the constituency I was born and raised in. That's the constituency that I'm representing. And I'm hoping that the residents of St. George South understands that they also can be a part of this historical moment to create that new level of change within the halls of Parliament by, you know, getting rid of some of the old school politics, the old way of doing things, the old style of representation, and to create something different. Now, what is that something different? Now, the challenges in Barbados are pretty consistent. You know, you can be on the ground or you don't have to be on the ground to know what's happening. Each constituency, from my understanding, from my focus, and from my trajectory of what needs to change, each constituency, and particularly St. George North, there is a growing sense of hopelessness. Of course, unemployment is there. But for me, the youth are the ones that are bearing the sacrifice in this moment. And that's where my campaign is focused on, the youth. What are we going to do with the youth? And that has been the question that everybody's been asking. Now, as I walk around in my constituency and as I pay attention to what's going on in Barbados in general, the youth have been pretty much forced into a corner. They don't feel as though they belong. There's a sense of hopelessness. They look around them and see the levels of manipulation, but also they see the injustice that takes place within our social fabric in society. And they are literally rebelling as a result of that. So I feel like the opportunities to create opportunities for the youth should be the thrust of any representative. And let me just take it from the perspective of the debt that our country is in now, where we're digging a deeper hole. Each administration comes in, they're digging a deeper hole. And with that debt, it appears as though the only way we're going to be able to pay back that debt is if we create some sort of new innovative way that we can thrive and function and create some new industry that we can sell to generate revenue, or else the people become sold labor. Sold labor to international corporations, sold labor to big business, where they're literally spinning top in mud, but unable to create wealth, which then can lead to comfort and then even the more evolution of innovation, right? So if the youth are not being catered for, catered to, and taken care of right now, who is going to be able to cover this amount of debt that we're constantly stacking on to our GDP? It's almost like you left out the essential component of creating innovative people, which are the youth, which is the educational system, which has a huge fracture, which is our social structure, which is our culture which is continuous. Like right now, you have a situation where major political candidates or major political parties are basically utilizing alcohol, weed, partying as a way to generate or stimulate the youth vote. So creating more chaos within our communities so they can gain power again from that youth vote. And so when you destroy the core of our society, which are our youth, when we don't educate them about the political processes, how it works, when we just feed them with alcohol and paraphernalia, what you call merch now, BLP merch or DLP merch, you know, the hats, the masks, the shirts, when they don't understand how this money is coming through to them, and then they become the enslaved ones who have to work for next skin to nothing to cover taxes or to be able to pay back the corporations to get our country out of debt. These young people, this youth element that we're talking about, have to be the innovators, have to be the ones to create, have to be the ones to invent, have to be the ones to produce, have to be the ones that are drivers of new industry. This is where it has to come from. And until our political elite understands this and invests more in communities, which is what my campaign is about, training and development of anybody within communities who can literally see, walk, or talk, helping them to understand that they belong to something greater than they think, helping them to know that they have a greater purpose, and helping them to see that even though they may not have a full degree or they may not have gone through UE or gone through community college, that their skills that's within them, that God-given spirit and skills that's within them, can come out and then manifest in such a way that it can be income generating. So several layers of things that I see communities need that can automatically be triggered. You know, like how many people in communities would like to have a well-trained professional home health staff that can come in and assist them in homes? Of young people who are trained professionally, who are with trained administrators of the same youth within communities who can do work within homes in communities, whether it's maintenance, whether it's home cleaning, whether it's babysitting, whether it's just holding on to the children while mommy and daddy goes out. Some basic, very basic things that with proper training, with high level of responsibility and proper training can be literally deployed within communities so that income generation can happen. But what if now, as a representative, you help these young people to structure that business model and help them now to be able to market that business model, because they're young people who develop apps within communities that we don't know about. They're young people who develop flyers. They're young people who offer professional services. What if we help to put that together within communities, package it well, and then distribute it across the communities across Barbados for people who need these services, so that we can then get income generation happening almost immediately, but also more than anything else to help nurture these young minds to understand that there's a process to becoming wealthy. It doesn't just happen overnight. And to become comfortable with chipping away at this, as long as they develop their professional skills, as long as they can see that they're improving, and to make sure that they can actually be able to gather the revenue that they call for their services. So whether it's $100 per home, whether it's $50 for child at babysitting. So with the professional training, they should be able to cover all of these bases. So those are just a few of the areas that I think are important, primarily because the focus for me and my campaign is to change and transform the culture within communities, because we have to depend on these same youth in order to take us out of the rut that we're in, that's created by professionals, by the way, whether they're professional economists, professional advisors, professional whoever that's making tons of money that has got us in the position that we're in. It is the youth now with proper representation who will be able to get us out. Because the only other approach that established governments have right now is to beg, steal, and borrow. And when it's not begging, stealing, and borrowing, it's selling the labor of our people to other institutions so that they can have something to say, oh, look, we bought a bus that was electric. Oh, look,
Right.
we bought a garbage truck. Oh, look, we did a road. But reality is, where is the revenue coming from? What industry have you created? Where are the young people within those communities? How are they managing? How are they flourishing? How are they growing and developing? And why is it that you're just dumping alcohol and weed in those communities for them to come and vote for you with your paraphernalia, instead of trying to develop the minds of the youth so they can develop their families to become progressive beings within our society?
Listen, guys. You hearing this? I mean, the chat is lighting up. HERU. Listen. This is a HERU. EVERTON, HERU, HOLIGAN. You know, all those H's tough for a Jamaican, right? But they're getting it. Right? EVERTON. In Jamaica, we say HEVERTON. HEVERTON. HOLIGAN. Right?
Yes.
But listen, guys, he is St. George South. St. George South. We need him in St. George South. We need him as a representative, Barbados. And everybody knows I'm rooting for all of the younger parties. And these ideas tonight, man, it's just beautiful. Ayodele Bishop said, well presented. Wow, goodness. This person, Nedi, is saying this last minute elections have hardly given other parties a chance to be able to get their name out there, because that's so true, Nedi, because they don't have the resources as the older parties. Not when I say larger, the older parties, they don't have the resources. Yeah. Wow, Wayne Hoyt. Wow, look, I'm telling you, Wayne is saying, I'm thinking about joining the APP. Wow, these are the things that happen. This is so fresh. So fresh. Denise is saying that Denise is an entrepreneur, and she's saying some good info, fresh and innovative. And this is what these younger parties represent. APP, it's APP night, so I'm saying APP, right? APP represent. Okay, guys. So we really need to do, let's do some real change, guys. We would sit down, with HERU, and at Christmas, myself, my family, our family here, we talk about all these different things, and we need new fresh blood, and we need this. And that's one of the things, about Barbados. You guys are so educated, and you're so, a lot of intellect and lots of discussion, and we like to talk, HERU. But listen, man, put the talk in some action.
Yeah, I think we have done well for our people for a while, but it's almost like we're stagnated in a sense.
Yes.
And this is why I challenge the way, and even for my constituents, I say straight up, I'm not interested in the ministry. Not interested, and I think I mentioned this to you in the last show I was on.
Let's clarify that, because a lot of people don't realize that.
Right. So when you're voted in, you become a member of parliament. A member of parliament that is supposed to be dialoguing consistently with your constituency to ensure that you can get their ideas, their feedback, and you should be able to debate in parliament based on the ideas of your constituents, not the ideas of your own person. But the template hasn't been properly set, where the constituents are engaged in knowing even what is to be debated. Because we have a system where both parties, as they go and come, they rarely invest in developing the intellectual capacity of the electorate, so they are aware of how this democracy should happen. And this is a demise to the population. This is a huge demise to the youth, because right now, as you're out there in canvassing, youth feel that you're out there to help them with either buy something or with land or with a job, because that's how they see a representative. Now, you are supposed to help wherever necessary, but then to think, okay, you can only vote for this person because they come and buy drinks, that is the level that we are stuck at in our society. And not just youth, there are older people out there with that same type of philosophy, that same type of mindset. So what happened is that people in our constituency, they believe that you cannot represent them because your government is not going to win. And that's how it's been projected by the same parliamentary, the same governments of the past. They always say, what he can do for you, government ain't gonna win nothing, he can't do nothing for you. But that's not how this democracy should be practiced. If you believe that as a member of parliament who is advocating on behalf of the constituents, and you're bringing legitimate concerns to the government of the day about your constituents, and your government is deciding not to listen, hear, or act upon that, your government or the government is at fault, not the representative. But if you're going to vote for a representative because of that, then it shows you're not fully aware of how this should work. And I'm saying that a lot of the misrepresentation of how our democratic practices should work has been perpetuated by both parties for the sake of dominance and control. Again, pure manipulation. So when I said I don't want to be a minister, I mean that my love right now, as I run in this election, is to represent the interest of the people, meaning that my interest is to be on the ground in my constituency, not caught up with a portfolio of tourism or health and wellness or any of these portfolios right now, because the constituency need help. Yes. The youth need help. And so ultimately you have the last government with everyone as a minister. Clearly they're not working on the ground. They can't be working on the ground. They can't put programs in place for the youth to help them to develop and grow in a meaningful way. They can come and do one off here, one off there, or they can come and grabble up a bunch of people from the constituency and give them a job on the side of the road, beating the road just before elections, and then after that, that's gone. Instead of grabbling those people up, nurturing them into understanding how to start a business, using the money to buy the tools, to train them how to use the tools, creating an administration for the tool, for the resources for the tool, how to keep the tools, how to maintain the tools, and then set them up to market now their business, so they can go out and market that business that they have in learning how to cut and take care of landscaping and stuff. They can market their businesses to the community members who want to have things done around their communities, and then they can be paid for that. But the government providing them with the tools and the maintenance and the supervision component, rather than having to go and bring them out and give them work for a short period, and then after the elections, which is most likely going to happen, not too sure, they get rid of them. At the end of the day, they haven't taught our youth how to be managers and owners of resources, how to market and develop business, how to become entrepreneurs. What they have done is they have literally thrown money at them, and then when that money has dried up, then they're back at square one again with no skill set that they can market for themselves. And so when I say I don't want to be a minister, I just want to be able to represent as an MP, where I go into parliament and discuss the issues that are happening within my constituency, advocate on behalf of my constituency, but more than anything else, be on the ground creating opportunities for my constituents that is above and beyond waiting on a government ministry to then give them something or do something for them, when we can create the things that we want for ourselves within communities if we have a way in which we can work and gel together and understand that our purpose and our destiny is beyond waiting for handouts from the government.
Wow. And let me just read the chat. I wouldn't even comment, because the chat, Wayne Hoyt said ministers can be hired from the general population as qualified or based on qualification and experience.
That's right.
And I think he says, I don't believe an elected MP should not be appointed as a minister, because then this is why everybody's saying, like myself, we don't see the representative. There's so many issues in our community and we don't see them. Stephen Lovell is agreeing with you that electorate are for the most part politically illiterate. Yeah,
that is purposefully done, I assume, Stephen. I think that's purposely done because that keeps a power structure in place where they're more dependent, and literally you're not creating opportunities to empower people. So even when I watch how COVID was handled, to me, I thought it was handled most terribly, where we didn't give our people the tools for them to be in charge of their own destiny, to be in control of how they take care of their health. because we wanted to say that we did, or not we, but the government wanted to say we did it for you. And that's how they gain more leverage. And so with situations like that, it's purely manipulative. And this is for juvenile people. This is not for a developing democracy. And this is not how we're going to take youth and young people to the point where they're innovative enough that they can be able to create things to sell to the rest of the world, so that they can have we can have a stable economy. So if you infantilize our population, then what do you expect? Nothing is going to come from it. So empowerment is my fundamental thrust. Development is my fundamental thrust. How to be a better father, how to be a better mother, how to be a better parent, how to be a better community-minded person, how to be a good auntie, how to be an uncle. Do you recognize every woman in this community as your mother or your sister? Do you recognize every man or boy in this community as your brother or your father or your uncle? And then if that happens, those nuts and bolts that put our society together as African people, if that happens, then we're on the path then to start repairing the damage that has been done to our people, community by community. And for me, nothing else matters as much. You can talk about the economy till the cows come home. All you're really saying is, how do I tap into something that Europeans created? How do I tap into their resources and bring it here so that we then can look as though we're developed? But you know, as a holistic health consultant, that's a problem for me, because we have to get to the root cause of the fracture, of the disease. And so if you don't get to the root cause of the disease and you just keep putting this perfume on top of it, you never get to heal the disease that needs to be healed. So our trajectory is to get to the root and be able to build out. And it's not going to take a month, a year. It may take 10 years, but something has started that can leave a legacy for other youth in politics or in community development to forward and continue to do, because we have to see beyond our noses. We have to see past our noses. We have to see, how is this nation, how are our communities going to be a stable, thriving community that I want my grandchildren to grow up in. And if you're not there yet, if you're just seeing yourself being elected as the power broker, and you're not seeing what will happen to your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, then you don't deserve to be in a position of leadership.
Wow. I mean, I could listen to you forever. And this is why I told you, I warned you, this is not a politician here, guys. And, you know, HERU is speaking like this because he's a practitioner. He's a community organizer. This is what you have been doing, you know, HERU, in your community. And you know, this is actually, it's not something that you said, well, I would like to do this, right? You have started some of these things already. Can you tell us about that?
Currently, I'm not doing very much, but I have spent several years of working with young people in communities, in this community and in other communities. There was a time a few years back where I would just clean out my entire living room, push all my furniture into the bedrooms, and bring the children.
Mr. Holigan, let me just, because Reverend Ferdinand is in the field, and I just want him to come in right now at this point. But just hang on right there, because we want to hear more. There are lots of questions coming up, guys. I need you to share.
In our society, I want you to understand that there are some processes waiting in the wings that will make provision for your little girl children to be sharing the bathroom with other people's little boy children because of what is referred to as sexual orientation and gender identity. A matter that the United States government sought to tie together with election integrity in the presentation of a resolution in the United Nations that was supposed to address election integrity. Many ambassadors of nations were shocked at the matter and were afraid to confront the government of the United States on the resolution that was passed by consensus, meaning that it was not voted upon. There is no evidence anywhere on planet Earth that at any time anyone was denied the privilege of voting as a result of their gender. Yet the United States tied it together in that resolution. And the reason that many countries declined to oppose America is because she is the largest donor to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, where all of our developing countries are seeking to obtain funding for the development of our economies and our countries. To put it simply, the borrower becomes the servant of the lender. In other words, if you want money from me, you will do as I tell you, and you will put laws in place that I tell you to put in place, or you will not receive the funding that you want. And that, my friend, is what we as a nation are facing tonight. And that, my friend, is why this election is one of the most critical in the history of this country. For if we are not vigilant in the vote that we cast on the 19th of January, we will simply be trading colonial masters from the United Kingdom over to the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the United States. But as the Alliance Party for Progress, we resolve to restore the democracy we once enjoyed. As Abraham Lincoln declared, this nation shall have a new birth of freedom, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. Not a government of the parliament, by the parliament, for the parliament. A government of the people, by the people, for the people. I don't want you to forget that phrase when you enter the polling station on the 19th of January, and understand that what you are doing is governing your country as the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. We in the APP resolve to provide a strategic plan and the implementation of that plan for the development of the economy of this country. And that plan will include access for every Barbadian to the rapidly exploding digital and cryptocurrency industry that will give ordinary Barbadians an opportunity to develop wealth and investment, and not simply a minority group of people in our country. Tonight, in another community in which I was speaking, I mentioned how as a political party, we will make provision for the youth of our country, not only for the development of their skills, but for the capacity to export their product and skills into other parts of the world. And a young lady walked up to me on the completion of my address and said to me, "Thank God, I hear you talk about helping us as young people to develop our abilities. I am a seamstress. I design my own clothes, and I have been wanting to find a way to get my clothes into the international market that she can benefit from a wealth opportunity where Barbadians, ordinary Barbadians can ply their trade on the international market. Through technology today, many of you are watching this presentation through a phone or a tablet. This is what we have developed in our country, and this is the medium by which our people will be able to envelop themselves into an opportunity for wealth development and life improvement. We will make sure that they are given access to the same platforms that our banks and insurance companies in this country access, and then want to tell us that if we access it, it's a scam. But they can access it using our deposits, for which we are paid 0% interest, and they can make between 9 to 10% interest. Don't pay you as a client depositing your money on their account a single cent of interest, while their shareholders prosper, benefit, buy land, buy property, and build big houses and drive BMWs and Mercedes-Benz, while you get 0% interest on your savings. We resolve to establish a strong export-driven knowledge economy that would allow Barbadians to become significant players in an $11 trillion digital economy, where our young people deserve to have access to this industry. We resolve to encourage innovation, entrepreneurship. I lived for 3 years in the island of Trinidad and Tobago, and I can tell you from my personal experience that the economy of Trinidad and Tobago is significantly grounded on the entrepreneurial capacity of the citizens of that country. You can walk into a supermarket and find 15 different flavors of pepper sauce by 15 different people. You can find 30 different golden apple, sorrel, ginger beer, beet juice, carrot juice. And talking about beet juice and carrot juice, would it not be a good thing if we could do something about reducing the price of the raw materials to develop our juices, so that rather than having to resort to Fanta, Coke, and Fruity at $1 something a bottle, we can be able to afford our natural juices that are healthy for us for a couple dollars, $2, $2.50, rather than $4.50. We resolve to create platforms for renewable and alternative energy sources. It would be wonderful if Barbadians were compensated and encouraged to place upon their homes solar panels, as I have observed happening in the Cayman Islands, to power their houses with their own electricity and significantly reduce their electric bills in this country. As a matter of fact, not only reduce it, but actually sell power back to the power grid of the electric company. But you can find electric fields being considered across our country for an elite few of people. These things are not right. These things are not just. And this is why I say to you tonight that there is a desperate need for changing the political processes in our country. And by that, I simply mean that we can no longer tolerate persons coming to us and asking us for our vote and not considering us any time between those election periods and having conversations as to what we believe as citizens of this country could be in the best interest of our nation. As this campaign has progressed, I have heard persons chastised for changing political parties and joining other parties. I promised to keep my campaign clean. You will not have heard me speak about a single person, because I have learned in marketing that you don't give your competition as free advertising. That is why when I worked for the brand that I had the privilege of introducing to this country, our advertising never carried our competition in it at all. So that whenever you saw our brand, that is all you saw, our brand. Every citizen in this country, under the protection of the Constitution and under the protection of the Charter of Human Rights, has freedom of association. And when you are not satisfied with how things are going in a particular institution, you are free to leave and join another. Why should persons be castigated for doing so? But this has been the practice of our political directorate for the past 55 years. And I say to you, time has come for significant change and persons to know that they are free to act in that manner without being castigated and maligned and cursed. As a minister of the gospel, I have people coming and going from my church. I don't curse the ones that leave. I don't castigate the ones that leave. That is a privilege and freedom of a democratic society. People are free to leave and join, leave and join, leave and join. We have been advised that in this general election, that the people of our country need to pray for discernment. And that is the one thing that I agree with, expressed by other members of other political parties. We need to pray. As a people of faith, Barbados is strongly grounded in faith in God. And I make no apologies for saying that. If you're not happy with me saying that, then I suggest you migrate to another country, because you will always hear that the Lord has been the people's guide for past 300 years. We cannot just express it as a stanza in the national anthem. We must mean what we sing. We recognize that it is God that has blessed this country with great leadership, great parties. We cannot be so disingenuous as to ignore the value of what has been transpiring in our country over the past 55 years. But be reminded that it is not solely the skill of individuals or governments that has done that. It has been the smile of the Lord on this country. That is why the writer of the national anthem included it in this nation's stanza. The Lord has been the people's guide for past 300 years. With him still on the people's side, we have no doubts or fears. Barbadians are afraid of nothing. We punch way above our weight, and we stand our own ground everywhere we go in this world. I watch us migrate to the United States, and while African Americans are quarreling in the United States concerning their law, Barbadians go in and go to work and establish businesses and future for their families and their children. We punch above our weight because we are people of faith. God doesn't want this country to be a theocracy. He wants this nation to be a godly and righteous country where we are adherents to righteousness, justice, and truth. That is what he desires for us as a people. We have been advised to seek discernment. I am told that discernment is the ability to judge well. The ability to judge well. The ability to judge well when you can see things, when you can observe things, you judge well. But there are some aspects where discernment is required for that which you cannot see. It is often has been referred to as gut feeling, and some women speak of it as feminine intuition. In other words, you see something, you can't put your finger on it, you know something is there, but you don't know exactly what it is, but there's something uncomfortable within yourself. And so, we need to execute discernment in this election come January the 19th, Wednesday, 2022. We need to see what is operating behind the scenes. I am told that as we go into this election, that the only thing that is needed for evil men to triumph is for good people to remain silent. We are asking you, as the constituents of St. George North, to let your collective voices be heard next week, Wednesday, January the 19th, concerning the direction that your country is going in, and that you express that by virtue of your vote. Let your voice be heard on the 19th of January when you cast your vote for me, Ferdinand Nichols. Let your voice be heard in that poll. Let your voice be heard in that station as you mark your X for a new government, a new order of governance of the people, by the people, for the people. Someone once said, give me a vote and watch me. I say, give me a vote and watch us, you and me, transform this country. We are told that if we continue to do the same things, the same way, expecting different results, we are nothing short of being insane or mad. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer myself to you tonight to be your representative in the House of Assembly, in our Parliament, on January the 20th, following the election on January the 19th. I commend myself to you, and I ask you for your support in bringing about a transition in our country toward a new form of governance. To that end, I wish to thank you for your time to listen to me tonight. Thank you for your consideration to represent you. May God bless you and your household. May God bless this constituency of St. George North, and may God bless our great nation, Barbados. Good night, and God bless you.
That was a powerful Dr. Ferdinand Nichols, the APP candidate for St. George North. And I love how he said, watch us. And that is what we were talking all night. And that is the ethos of APP. That's the ethos of APP. It's us, it's the together. You know, and I'm hearing, I'm living in St. Philip, and I want to go help Paula in St. Joseph, because I love St. Philip, but I've fallen in love with St. Joseph and the possibility of what can really, really happen. And Lisa is saying this is an excellent speech. And, you know, we want to make this more than a speech. As I said, you know what, guys? You know what? We're going to share this live. We're coming to a close, but we want to share the live. That even, you know, people get up tomorrow morning, it's in their inbox. You know, come on, guys. That's one of the ways that you can do it. Share the live, share the live, share the live. Let's do something. Let's do something. We talk about the change. We talk about the change, but the change is going to come with us. I love it. Huh? Give me the vote and watch us, how we are going to work together to make this happen. And that is what Dr. Ferdinand is speaking about. That's what HERU, who is ready again, is speaking about. I would love for Veronica, if she could put on her camera so we can close this off together. You know, and you know, how did you like that speech? I mean, he was saying, give me the vote and watch us. And isn't that what you're talking about, Veronica? I see you're giving me thumbs up.
Yes, it's us. It's us. It's not we against them. It's not them against us. It's us. Mm-hmm. He's right. It's us.
Yes, working together. And that is what HERU, I mean, your whole HERU, I tell you, you carry and all of the candidates. Don't you guys see that there's something different about them? Honestly, you know, don't you see there is just this freshness and a lot of innovation, and every night you come in here, you're seeing it in the younger parties. There is a freshness, guys. I pray that doesn't change. It's like a breath of fresh air. EVERTON, what were your thoughts about the speech?
I was actually off taking care of my little son, just getting things sorted out for him. So I really didn't get to catch most of it. I was in and out with my son. The there was something that I caught in it which had to do with Americans and Barbadians leaving and going to the US and thriving under whatever challenges taking place in the US. I think the speaker mainly was trying to elevate or prove to us that we are resilient, we are educated and informed, and we have the potential, which is what is necessary to know. We have the potential to create the solutions that we need to create, but we are looking in the wrong direction for the solutions. The solutions can be birthed from right in our communities, right in our neighborhoods, in our schools, but we have to be able to allow for a space for youth and people within communities to feel welcomed, wanted, and empowered. And I think of everything else that I was hearing regarding that particular point, it was looking at how best can we justify our evolution as a people by recognizing that we have what it takes. We have what it takes to save ourselves from the dire debt trap that we've been placed in. And so I think that that was an important point, I think.
And that is so true. I mean,
I want to say something, Marcia, about that. And I'm agreeing with HERU. I'm agreeing with Dr. Ferdinand. We need the programs. Now, my daughter, as you know, is a singer. She can sing. And in order for her to have the opportunities that she wanted, there were none in Barbados. That's why I went back to the United States of America. I actually was back in Barbados. I had no plans of going back to the United States. I went back to the United States so my daughter can get the opportunities that she was seeking that weren't here. And it isn't just to become a Rihanna. That was her goal, but she didn't do that. But you know what she's doing now? She's a vocal coach. She has her own business as a vocal coach. Where are the opportunities in Barbados? We don't have any. I had to leave Barbados and take my daughter overseas so that she can have the opportunities in her field of creativity. And that should not be so.
And I know, Mr. Holigan, that the creative economy it's one of the ways that I know that APP is seeking to diversify the economy, move it away, not just on tourism, but that we have many legs to stand on. Do you want to speak a little bit about the creative economy?
Well, the creative economy is not new. And I think both parties have talked about the creative economy over the years. But I think what the members of the APP has done, particularly Ms. Lynette Eastman, is to give more value, more body to the creative economy, which literally means seeing it as an industry that requires investment, not something that can be played with. And just as much as we invest millions in the tourism product, where we travel abroad and try to get people to come to Barbados, and we oftentimes don't generate the revenue or as much revenue as that we need to generate from the industry. We have many of the ownership of the properties and the bookings done offshore, and so very little comparatively in terms of what is taken in from bookings and stuff. Very little gets dispersed among the population. Very little is sent back home, and so the creative industry is a way then that we can target the creatives within every community of Barbados, create a structure for their creativity, and be able to package and market that creativity to the world. And so it requires a structure and heavy investment for it to actually be able to kick off the way it needs to. So it's just a matter of, again, valuing your people. Because if you believe that all of your solutions, all of what you need is going to come from outside, and that your people, White Oak, et cetera, don't have the skill set to fix the problems that are created locally, or don't have the skill set to generate revenue that can be sold internationally, then we find ourselves consistently spinning in mud, looking for somebody to save us when we should be working on saving ourselves. And so it takes again, this is where representation becomes important. There are institutions in Barbados that provide excellent work. I can think of one particular institution right now, a theater arts program that turns out excellent work, excellent, par excellence, that turns out scholars on the international arena, right? But this particular institution is not rolling off the tips of the tongue of every Barbadian citizen. Right now, this particular institution funds and gives scholarships to young Barbadians who weren't able to have access to resources to get to international level in terms of developing their art and their skill and their talent in theater and in music, etc. But this institution is also challenged with being able to survive. So if you have excellent representation, and if you understand that only people who will save us is ourselves, then the resources of the nation will go into institutions such as that, giving it the leverage to prop up so that the people who manage it will not have to be struggling to do things. But that institution can be propped up and then be allowed to sell that talent to even get other students from across the world to come in because of the excellent work that they do. Or even take it and expand upon it so that it can be an institution of world renown, and then bring in people that people can come and participate in it. And then it could be given the prominence that other institutions are given in different parts of the world. But this again, you have to have representation who have vision and who can see past the corned beef and biscuits politics, who can see past just waiting every 5 years to come on the block and drop off some weed and drop off some alcohol so that they can get a vote, so they can continue the process. Meanwhile, the people suffer.
Right.
Yeah.
An institution after institution, such as the one that HERU just mentioned, just die. They just die.
They die because they can't compete.
They can't survive. No,
they can't survive because the people who develop it are worn out. They're beaten and battered. When that institution dies, they don't have anybody. If the leaders die, there's no continuity. And then if there's no continuity, then the children fall off. And if the youth fall off with no other place to go, when an institution like that should be literally replicated because of its nature of excellence, and then be able to then use that as a tool to continue to empower. So all I'm saying is that the creative economy is that. The creative economy is saying, let us put the structure in place and let us use the resources that we use for marketing Barbados as a tourism product and market the creative nature of our people in every sphere that you can find.
In every community.
And in every community that you can find, package it and then redistribute it. And for us, we know that with that creative industry, you can create millionaires in every community, or you can create people in every community, not just the heights and terraces, but the creatives that exist on the blocks.
Correct.
They become the pioneers in ways in which they can leverage and generate revenue on the international market because the government has a structure for them and an industry for them that they can plug into, and they can reap the benefits from it. Just as much as people can come and build hotels and plug into the government tourism product, get tax exemptions, get all of the exemptions that we and other businesses don't get, and then be able to generate that revenue and then traffic it out into their world where they come from, instead of having that revenue stay at home and build the capacity of the people above just crumbs falling off the table, but literally to build the capacity of the people. Correct. And this is what the APP is about. This is what the creative economy is about. This is what we are about as we take on this journey in the battle to save our countrymen and women.
And especially our youth.
Wow. You know, I'm
Barbados.
The future of Barbados, and I'm, as a creative, I'm listening and I'm like, oh, HERU's reading my mail, you know. You are touching any creative who listen to that understand exactly what you're talking about and understand that need. And sometimes I say to myself, I wonder if Barbados realize that if everything is stripped away, all you have is your people. It's
Yeah.
the people, and within the people we have all the gifts and the creativity. Go ahead, Hero.
No, I was just thinking, I was speaking to my creative assistant today who was saying even to find stock photos of happy black men, you can't find it. Like you have to literally dig and dig and dig to find a stock photo of a happy black person or happy black woman. Several things that we can actually put in place on behalf of our people is just hard
Yes.
to find. And so the creative
Yes.
industry is literally an industry that requires structure, and that's what the APP has been about. That's our
And
next industry. That's our
funding.
next revolution.
And
Yeah, support,
funding.
resources. Yeah,
Support. Funding.
that's our next industry. And so while
I
while
love
we
when you
try to
say it's the
chase,
next revolution. It is the next revolution, and
correct.
really it is, because I mean, we've seen what happened with the pandemic, and there was a time, when we weren't getting that many tourists. And so,
Yeah,
Right.
what's going to happen to us in here? We still have to eat, we still have to live, and it's going to be the people, the creativity, what is inside the people. And sometimes, Hero, we think, and Veronica, we think creativity is what you do on a stage and so on. But it's those farmers in St. Joseph who might not
Yes.
have the right tools and might not have the right know how, but then they've come up with an idea, Hero, to be
Correct.
able to work that soil. That is the creativity, and that is
Correct.
what is in the people, that they
That's
can
why
just
I always say the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, the creatives. It's not just people on stage.
yes, it goes beyond the people on stage.
Correct.
I think,
Well,
Hero, you were saying something.
no, I'm just the creative industry is one. I was just thinking that, we've spent a lot of time talking about medicinal marijuana and not enough time in decriminalizing marijuana and trying to ensure that we reduce the amounts of incidences of our young brothers and sisters being hauled before the court for incidences of marijuana use, which is something that needs to also be discussed. But reason why I brought that up is because there's a lot of resources being put, or a lot of time and energy being put into what is known as medical marijuana now. And my personal view is that that horse is already long bolted, and it will be very difficult to develop that industry locally in terms of cost factors, etc. And the creative industry is an option that would not require that much resource in terms of being able to be able to grow and produce medical marijuana to fit the market. The amount of resources that has to go into it, that we can also we can use the creative industry as a jump off point, as an industry that may be more lucrative and literally more easy to access and get into than the medical marijuana industry that the current administration is trying so hard to get off the ground. So I was just trying to juxtapose the medical marijuana, which is an industry that's being touted as the next best industry for us, juxtapose it to the creative industry, which is way diverse, because medical marijuana industry doesn't include us as players. This is other people who are coming in and benefiting from it. But then the creative industry can be my neighbor, can be the little boy or the old man up the street who has a knack for putting things together in a way in which the world may want to have access to.
Correct.
Yes, that is really powerful, right there, because I'm telling you, the more I saw that happen in COVID, where that creativity had to come in, right? And yeah, we were making our own masks. Lots of things were beginning to happen, and I thought that there was a point there with this government where we saw something was happening, and I was like, yes, something is happening when they were encouraging agriculture. I even
Yeah,
got up and started to, and then they just dropped it. The people
yeah,
dropped
they
it
needed
and
to.
they
There
spend
was
money on
so many things to capitalize on. education, community development, agriculture. There were so many things. So like this was the perfect time to reform the education.
Working from home.
It was the perfect time to do so much. But again, I don't know. I feel like it's just the consciousness of not believing in your people. It's just so endemic. And so this is where new politics have to come and play a part. New politics have to play a part in this, because how do you shift the goalposts from these same old heads? They know how to score the goals. They know how to win elections, because winning elections doesn't necessarily mean you're the better party or the better candidates. They just know how to do it better. They know how to manipulate the vote. They have the resources, but that doesn't mean that it literally is in the best interest of the people.
And the people need to recognize that.
Yeah, so they agreed. So the new thinking, new policies, new ideas have to really come to the fore, and it has to be supported by the people who look forward and see that what is ahead of us, given the way how things are happening, doesn't look the best. You know, because ultimately it's still digging in the same hole. Like I mentioned earlier, the party before, the only way they did it was keep digging in that hole. Then this other party came and dug a little bit deeper. And then now the manifestos are coming out and they're saying, we're going to dig a little bit deeper. And then when they come in, then they're going to dig even deeper again, because the manifestos really just speak to what they would like to see happen, but it doesn't speak to where we are currently and the possibilities of making those things happen. So as a result of, you know, when as a younger party, we were looking at what was happening last year in 2018 in politics. And then we started listening to all the promises that was being brought to the fore. And we were wondering, how are they going to do all of this? Where is the money going to come from?
Exactly.
And because we knew as a small party that something was wrong, because there was no revenue here to do this.
Coming from? Yes.
But then they literally got into power and said, we didn't know it was so bad. Like the oldest trick in the book. How do you still do that in 2018? Like tell people you didn't know it was so bad. You're the leader of the opposition. You are the opposition, the official opposition. You know what the bank book looks like for the government. What do you mean you didn't know? And people literally agreed and bought this. And then they started attacking the other party. They stole everything. Like, what are you talking about? Come on, get an understanding of what's going on in your country. Please, like, it doesn't work like that. You know, and so then we started going to the IMF, and then from the IMF, then all these other loans. The hole is getting dug deeper. Hole is getting dug deeper, and we were saying, "Hey, listen, we have an economy here that we can boost. We have the creative economy. We have our people that we can dwell upon. We have our people that we have to build a democracy with. We have to improve our democracy with. We can't just be doing things on their behalf without letting them know what we're doing." We had the perfect opportunity to create this unified effort that we needed to help and build forward. But the hole just kept digging. The hole just kept digging. So here we are now being dragged and kicked in elections where there's a pandemic, within quotation marks, in my personal opinion, looming. And we are being told that we have to go through these elections to form unity or to get a mandate. What is that mandate supposed to be given for? What is supposed to come after you've given that mandate? So what if you win the party? What is this mandate that you're coming with? Is it mandatory vaccines? Because we don't want that. Is it higher taxes? Because we don't want that. What is this mandate that you're coming with that we're supposed to now give you the authority by our vote to do? Why not just tell us up front? Because we don't want that. We want freedom. We want our people to feel like they belong to this country. We want them to make decisions in Parliament, or we want Parliament to make decisions based on what our people want. And we want our electorate to be fully, continuously educated so that they can work and join with us in government to ensure that we can have the communities and societies that they need to see and they need to evolve in. I have to run off. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity.
We are closing now. We are actually closing now. We normally by 9:15. By about 9:15, we're closing up. But this has been tremendous, guys. And let's move this from just talk.
To
Let's move
Barbados,
from just
the
talk.
preferred place to live, to work, to do business, and to raise our children.
Yes, and
Ashe.
correct. Let's move it from talk and let's move it to the 19th. Let's go to the 19th, guys, and we have Mr. Everton HERU Holigan, and he is St. George South. St. George South. Let
Yes.
us get him in there as our representative, and Miss Veronica Price, St. Michael West Central. Ferdinand Nichols, who was on tonight as well, St. George North, and Miss Paula Bradshaw. We can't forget Miss Paula Bradshaw.
Right.
St. Joseph, we got a special work to do up there in St. Joseph, guys. Listen, and to everybody that's watching, remember it's an us thing. You got to share this. All right? You have to share this. You have to share this and use word of mouth. Talk to people about what you heard here tonight, right? Talk to people about what you heard. You heard, I listened to those people and there was something fresh about them. Go ahead and help them, because we don't have, a lot of these younger parties don't have the resources. I've been saying it every night. They need money. They need, you said, oh, but we don't hear about them because they can't pay. Those Barbados today lives, guys, it's like $2,000 to do a live on Barbados today. It's expensive. And this is not something that they plan. So we need you. Word of mouth. Everybody here. Call somebody. Call somebody in St. George North. Call somebody in St. George South. Call people in St. Michael West Central. Talk about the APP. Talk about the younger parties. Word of mouth. Use your fingers. Digital. Get going, guys, and let's get this off. Let's get this off and let everybody know about it. Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Miss Price. And thank you, Mr. Holigan. God bless you. Thank you
And
so
thank you
much.
to Marcia for getting the word out.
Yes,
Good
thank you.
night.
Thank you. God bless you.
Good night.
Thanks so much. Yes. Guys, thank you so much. We had so much more to share with you, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow when we come again, tomorrow at 7 p.m. And tomorrow we're going to focus on the coalition tomorrow. So we will have the Barbados, the Barbados Sovereignty Party will be on tomorrow. Along with, I'm sure he's going to bring some from Solutions Barbados because they've formed a coalition. All right. Last night we focused a lot on NBKA and the Bajan Free Party. Tonight was the Alliance, okay? Because we're focusing on the younger parties, okay? So again, share the live, and I see you tomorrow. I want to talk about, we have, a video here from Michelle Russell and the lawyer, attorney Michelle Russell. We're going to deal with that tomorrow as well, okay? So God bless you all. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us, and please share. Please share. Use your fingers, share, and open your mouth and speak, okay? Yes. Oh, okay. Shama, Mr. Roach. Hi, good night, Mr. Roach. Is saying APP and Solutions will be on brass stacks as well. And Mr. Roach, I did not miss your ideas there that you had for the farming. I love that. And talking about all the products that the cannabis we can get from cannabis. And he was saying here that cannabis make up to 300 plus products: cotton, twine, rope, wool, oil, building material, school uniforms, and the list goes on. And that's a whole show by itself. I love that. God bless you all, guys, and see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. God bless you. Bye-bye.